class. My name is Dr. Yung Choi, and I will be teaching the rest of Module 3 for Biology 1510. Now, hopefully you guys have been doing the reading assignments and are all caught up for the exam next week. Anyways, today we'll be talking about the electron transport chain, and I have a really cool bacteria to show you guys in class. So, let's begin with the electron transport chain. Now, I have a neat little diagram here showing the electron transport chain. And as you guys know, basically what we use the electron transport chain for is ATP synthesis. And from the readings, you guys should have acquired that ATP is the chemical energy stored in sugars that we humans and other living organisms use. So let's go on to a learning catalytics question that I expect all of you to get right. Do all living things need ATP to live? True or false? I don't like that answer. In fact, almost 100% of you answered A, true, when actually the answer is false. Why? Because I will show you a cool new bacteria that we've discovered recently that does not need ATP to function.
So, we have determined that the movement of electrons is key to energy production in life, having defined respiration as the passage of electrons down the electron transport chain. However, while oxygen is the terminal electron acceptor for our mitochondrial electron transport chain, bacteria can use other electron acceptors when oxygen is unavailable. This is referred to as anaerobic respiration. Even more fascinating is research that has recently shown that there are electric life forms that live on pure energy. These bacteria, named electric bacteria, literally eat and excrete electrons alone. This would be like humans sticking their fingers in outlets in order to live. The discovery of electric bacteria underscores that energy production in organisms depends solely on the movement of electrons. While other organisms have these electrons contained in sugary molecules, these bacteria eliminate their need for the so-called middleman.
Kenneth Nielsen at the University of Southern California is currently growing bacteria using only electricity. Sediment is collected from the seabed, and electrodes are inserted into it. Voltages higher and lower than the natural voltage of the sediment are applied. Higher voltages offer excess electrons. These are the electrons that the bacteria pick up and eat. Lower voltages mean that the electrode picks up any electrons. And these are the electrons that the bacteria excrete. Therefore, there is a flow of electrons, which should result in a current. A current indicates that there is life growing.
Similarly, at the University of Minnesota, Daniel Bond and his colleagues were able to sustain these electric bacteria on an electrode and observe their growth. A colony of bacteria were placed on a graphite electrode as the sole electron donor. In the graph shown here, from the time the bacteria are being introduced, we see an increase in the amount of electrons being drawn from the electrode, as indicated on the graph by an increase in the magnitude of the current. This means that there are more bacteria present to consume these electrons, and thus there is bacterial growth over time. The research shown here is the most comprehensive evidence found so far that proves these bacteria can be sustained on electrons alone.
What does this mean? These bacteria may be used to create biomachines called self-powered useful devices, or SPUDs. These SPUDs may be capable of tasks such as cleaning up sewage, contaminated groundwater, and even oil spills. Many of these tasks currently require large and complex machinery to be performed, but future biomachines have the capacity to shrink the scale and improve the efficiency. Using these bacteria, biological engineers could also create biological batteries more powerful than existing chemical ones. Existing batteries are constrained by the amount of surface area on their electrodes. To generate a bigger charge, you need a bigger battery. But the microscopic pili have a huge amount of surface area that could be harnessed to create electricity. Incredibly, some of these electric bacteria also create biocables, or nanowires, linking them to their surroundings and fellow bacteria, which allow for both the harnessing and dispersal of electrons. These cables are capable of conducting electricity as well as copper wire, and in the future, we may be able to create complex, self-assembling subsurface networks to conduct electricity and transfer information.
So in conclusion, electric bacteria take pure electrons to produce energy rather than using any third-party resources as other living organisms do. So while conventionally we often limit respiration to the concept of cells, mitochondria, and the ATP production, we must think more broadly and more simply. Respiration is simply a transfer of electrons, and this is especially underscored by electric bacteria, which only use electrons. So these are the sources that we used in class today, and that is all. and finish the Mastering Biology assignment due for tomorrow, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.